Did you know that oftentimes for something that you've constructed for a client that you may give over ownership to the title of that way before you expected and hold on to the risk if anything goes wrong way longer than expected? So these things can be snuck into your contract. It's really important to understand when the ownership of what you have produced transfers to the person that you're supplying it to. There's different moments in time and it can be very, very tricky. So today we've got a training for you that will walk you through exactly what you need to know to understand when the risk transfers and when the title, the ownership, transfers as well. So hi, my name is Cian Brennan. I'm CEO of a company called Contract Solutions. The reason we make these videos is there's so many construction companies that lose money hand over fist because they don't understand a few little things in their contracts. They sign up to things they don't really understand, and then things go wrong and they lose a lot of money or they go out of business. So watch this video. Make sure that you understand when your risk transfers and when the title transfers to set yourself up for success and that you don't lose money. Enjoy. Hey legends, so in this training we're going to talk about risk and title transfer. It's actually quite an important thing because sometimes, actually a lot of the times I've noticed in contracts this is a bit sly, I think. I don't think this is very fair. This is not something that I would consider, looking after your commercial interests. It's probably a little bit unfair. So let's get into it a little bit. And first of all, let's define what we mean by risk, right? So when we're talking about risk, we're talking about whose responsibility it is to look after whatever the output of your work is, right? So on a construction site, if essentially what we're talking about, if there's any damage or theft on your work that you've done, whose responsibility is it to look after that risk? Okay, so we'll get into it a little bit, but that's what we mean. And then the next thing we're talking about is title. So what is title? Title is who owns what you're doing, the goods or the services that you've provided or the output of the work, whatever it happens to be. Who owns that, right? And so when the title transfers from one person to the other, that's the transfer of ownership. And similarly, when the risk transfers from one person to the other, it's the transfer of risk. And so this whole clause from a commercial point of view is talking about when the risk and the title transfer. Okay, so what's the problem we're trying to solve? Well, oftentimes the risk of whatever you've produced or whatever you've done transfers a certain amount of time after delivery. So you've delivered your scope of work, and for whatever reason, the risk you've given it to them, you've given it to the client, but for whatever reason, they want to retain the risk of making sure it doesn't get damaged or anything that happens to it. Okay, so that has cost implications to you and your business. The second thing is the title, they want the title to transfer to them on delivery. So you're giving them that they now own the thing that you've produced for them, although you may not have been paid for it yet. So, problems. Now, I put in a bit of a sample clause that you can see in a contract. And this one says, the risk and responsibility of equipment and materials supplied by the contractor, etc., remains the subcontractor's responsibility. Okay, keeps on. If any damage or loss, occurs, it's at the contractor's cost, right? So you've finished the work, you've given it to them, and now they are responsible for the risk. In that clause, it says the transfer of title from the subcontractor of all the equipment and materials, will occur upon delivery. It's with you, but we're taking ownership of it. So all the benefit point of view, I don't think you would agree it's fair either. So what do we want to do about it? Well, we want the risk to transfer when you hand it over, right? We give you this thing, it's now yours. That's what we do with anything. In that other industry, if we give you an output, it's now yours, it's now yours. Now the title, we don't want to transfer the title over until we've been paid full. It's not delivery. If we give you the goods and service, that's fine. The risk now yours, but you own it as soon as you afford, essentially. And again, like buying a house or whatever it is, you take ownership of the title. You want to take ownership of when you've been paid in full. So to protect your own rights, you want to make sure that the transfers to them when you deliver it, and then the title transfers to them only when full. It gives you more leverage. It makes it safer, and obviously, it's fair. It makes sense.